It was a cold evening when Ashi's world fell apart. Her father, the man who had always protected her, had passed away. She sat by the river near her home, watching the ripples disturb the reflection of the full moon. The wind carried the distant sound of temple bells, but her heart was too heavy to listen. Ashi's father had been everything to her, her guide, her protector, her greatest friend. Now, all that remained were memories and an emptiness she didn't know how to fill. She clenched her fists and asked the sky, "Why do we lose the people we love? Why is life so unfair?" An old monk named Master Rin was passing by and heard her cries. He walked toward her with slow, deliberate steps and sat beside her. "Child, why do you weep?" he asked gently. "My father is gone," Ashi whispered. "I don't know how to live without him." The monk smiled, not out of disrespect, but with the kindness of one who understood pain. "Tell me," he said, picking up a handful of sand. "If I close my fist, what happens?" "The sand slips away," Ashi answered. "And if I keep my palm open, the sand stays." The monk nodded. "This is the way of life, child. We cannot hold on to things forever. The more we cling, the more we suffer." Ashi shook her head. "But how can I let go? He was my father. I can't just stop loving him." Master Rin placed a small lotus flower in her palm. "Do you see this flower? It is beautiful today, but tomorrow it will wither. Does that mean it was never beautiful?" Ashi stared at the flower, tears filling her eyes. She understood the meaning. Just because something ends doesn't mean it never mattered. The monk continued, "Your father's love, his lessons, his kindness, they have not vanished. They are within you. He has simply changed forms. If you try to hold on to the past, you will miss the beauty of the present." Ashi lowered her head. "But I miss him." "And you always will," the monk said. "But missing someone does not mean we stop living. It means we honor them by living as they taught us." That night, Ashi sat by the river until the sun rose. She thought of her father's laughter, the way he encouraged her when she was afraid, the warmth of his embrace. And for the first time since his passing, she smiled. He had not left her. He had simply become part of her. From that day on, Ashi carried her father's wisdom in her heart. She lived not in sorrow, but in gratitude for the time they had shared. She learned that life is like the river, always flowing, always changing, yet always beautiful. And so she let go, not of love, but of sorrow. She chose to live.